Welcome to the Beauty in Burnt Toast, the podcast where we celebrate the crispy, chaotic, unexpectedly beautiful parts of life. I'm Jade.
And I'm Jamie. We're two women doing our best to live with purpose, laugh through the mess, and talk about the stuff that no one puts on Instagram.
Here you'll find real stories, unfiltered conversations, and reminders that perfection is overrated, but showing up, that matters.
And whether you're building a business, raising humans, chasing healing, or just trying to remember what day it is, you belong here.
So pour the coffee, reheat the toast, and let's get into it. This is the Beauty in Burnt Toast. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Beauty in Burnt Toast. Today we are keeping it real with our Bluetooth microphones because we had a little snafu. So that's what our podcast is all about, just real life, no fake stuff here. So today's episode is, spoiler alert, you're not stuck, you're evolving, and possibly a little bit sweaty. We are talking all about purpose, and we're focusing on a recent podcast of Mel Robbins and Jay Shetty that just really spoke to both of us. I think I've listened to it 3 times now. But my life specifically lately has been all about finding my purpose. I think I've told you before, like last year was just crazy and I felt a little bit lost. And even with each kid, I know as a mom, it's like each time you have a baby or adopt or have a big change in your life, it just totally kind of like resets you.
Yeah.
And you're like, where am I? What is happening? Who am I? So,
yes, who am I becoming?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I know I feel like I always say 7 lives, 9 lives, like a cat, like things just constantly change and evolve. And you're always having to figure out who that new version of you is. And then there's a little bit of you that you're like, I miss the old me. I was so carefree. Fun. I just did things. Yeah. I didn't care if the kitchen was clean before we went to bed or anything like that. Now, it's just a whole new season.
It's hard to sleep when there's dishes in the sink.
It's hard to sleep. It is. Why is that?
I don't know. And then sometimes you look at the army men in the floor and it's just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm done for the
right? Day. You know what? The dogs can have those. I don't care.
Have you ever stepped on one? Legos are bad. Army men are really bad.
Well, we have Barbies.
Barbies.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So when it comes to purpose, in the episode with Mel Robbins, it talks about grieving a part of yourself.
Right.
And that might be one reason that you can't move on. And I talked to my therapist about this because I feel like this is a big part of me lately is, you know, I was in retail all of these years and then I switched over into real estate and I really just thought real estate was it. Like that was it. There's not going to be anything else. And then last year was just a really slow year and it kind of threw me for a loop. And I felt like my word this year is pause.
Yeah.
Because I'm just always like, go, go, go. And I felt like I've just needed to take a step back and kind of like reevaluate my life and where it's going. But when I started thinking about purpose is really when I really got into this podcast. But because I've always been really into journalism and writing and just having a voice.
Right.
And I feel like the past, since I gave birth, I really haven't had much of that. And so when I thought podcast, I'm like, yes, like why have I not thought about this before? Like this is a chance for me to find my voice again, you know, talk about the things that I love, talk about God and everything he's done for me and give other moms especially a purpose and a chance to see that they're not alone.
That's good. So, yeah, that's good. And I mean, in that same part, you and I were talking earlier, when you think about who you thought you were going to be versus who you've become, that can be kind of heavy because we all want to do these grand things. We all have this dream of XYZ, whether it's having children or owning your own business, or maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's not even as big as that. Maybe it's home ownership. I don't know. But when that doesn't happen, or it doesn't look the way you had planned that to happen, gosh, that can send you into just
throws you for a loop.
Emotional turmoil.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not centered. Like if you don't have, I always look to God, and I always just hope that I'm always focused on Him and His glory and His hope and purpose. But the flesh is a hard thing to fight.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I've experienced points of contentment, where you just like everything's good. But I feel like those are the points too where you kind of lose your, what's the word? Fight a little bit. Yeah. It's just like everything's super smooth. And then something happens to shake you up. And that's when I really find that God is drawing you back.
It's like that's when you put your armor back on.
Yes. And I hate that, but I love it in another sense, because that's when I hear Him most. So yeah.
So my version of grieving oneself is I had this whole plan, this picture in my life. By the time I'm this age, I'll do this. And by the time I'm this age, all these milestones kind of laid out for myself, one of which was having multiple children. I saw myself with a household of kids, but my idea was that those kids would be my biological, naturally birthed children, and then that didn't happen. It didn't happen how I thought. But I was so fortunate that my husband and I were able to be foster parents, and then we were able to adopt. And so the way I got to that house full of kids wasn't exactly how I had planned, but it was in God's plan, and it's been beautiful.
Yeah.
But I still had to grieve that idea of only having one biological child. And that was heavy for me. That was years of grief for me. And I know there's a lot of people out there that probably struggle with that same thing.
Yeah.
Just the idea of like, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is not the big plan. But looking back now, it's like, wow, that's kind of a miracle a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to let go. Like, that God's plan is better. Like, we talk about it all the time. His plan is better than our plan.
Right.
But in the moment when you can't see it, it's just like, I just want to do it my way.
Make it work.
Yeah. And when you're younger, it's like, I want to get married by 25. I want to have this kid by this time, this kid by this time. And it does not go that way.
It doesn't.
At all.
No. And it doesn't need to. We don't have, like, letting go and releasing control. That's real hard.
We might be both a little bit of control.
A little bit. I like things to go a certain way.
We did, I think I told you, the salsa lessons not too long ago, and the man has to lead. For me, that is so hard. Like, not that I don't ever let him lead, but I just am so calculated.
Yes.
Like, I have to know what's coming next, and just letting things flow is really hard for me.
And we did the same thing. Just a week later, we did 2-step lessons, and it's the same thing, and the instructor would be like, let him lead.
It's like, what your problem is,
let
right?
Him lead.
It is.
I'm like,
yes.
please, just, I can count. I'm counting. But yeah, I get it.
So one of the questions we had is, what identity are you still clinging to that's keeping you from your next thing? Do you still think there's any part of you that's clinging to something that's keeping you from moving forward in something else?
At this point in life, I don't think that there's anything that's kind of holding me back or anything like that, because I think with age, you kind of do let go of things. And you're not as fearful to do things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not as afraid to step out and do certain things.
That's very true.
Whereas
you stop caring about what other people think as much.
Right.
Yeah.
You do. And it's not necessarily, because there's still parts of me where I'm like, oh gosh, what is people going to think if X, Y, Z? Or, if I do this or not that. I still kind of put people's feelings in my mind, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't care. This will be successful. I will do this because, so I don't feel like I have a ton of things. I can't even think of one thing right now that's like holding me back. Like, you can't do that.
Well, that was a part of the Mel Robbins, Jay Shetty podcast too, was the fact that he had changed careers so many times. Like he had been a monk and he had been this and he had written a book, and he's like, every time he changed, he's like, people knew me as this thing. So it was hard for me to move on to another thing because they're like, why are you like, you're this person, like you're a realtor or you're a teacher, like you can't be a podcaster or a preacher or whatever. But it's like, who are you to say what I can be?
Right. Well, I was a portrait photographer for 12 years before I became a realtor. And I still, just last year, had someone message me on Facebook and say, hey girl, you're not going to believe this, but my baby's graduating. Will you do her senior portraits? Oh my God. I did her newborn pictures.
So what did you say? I
was like, I've been out of photography now for like 8-9 years. And she was like, I had no idea.
It's crazy.
I'm like, my whole Facebook, all of my social media is real estate. Like,
but looking back, like knowing what you know now, then would you have ever thought you would be where you are now?
Oh, no. I didn't even have real estate in my mind.
Owning a real estate company.
Oh, no. That was nowhere. No. The Lord forced me into this.
He does that a lot.
He does. He said, you know what? We're going to change things. Let's pull the rug out from under you. And I said, okay.
Well, when did you start really feeling that pull to do something different?
From photography to real estate?
Well, the business, like Merit House in general.
Well, as I started understanding real estate and how the business worked and kind of how the general public felt about other realtors and real estate type companies, I started thinking there's got to be a bigger and better way. There's got to be a kinder, more beneficial way to give back to the community, to change kind of the look of how people felt about real estate. I didn't know how that was going to look, and I surely didn't think I would open a real estate company at all.
Yeah.
And I just started talking it out and kind of planning out how I could change my business as a realtor to be differently. And then it was almost like God said, that's not enough. And I was like, well, what is enough? You know what I mean? Like just struggling back and forth with what's enough. And then when I went in one day to talk to someone about it, the conversation did not go as I expected it to. And the next thing I know, I'm without a job. And I'm like, okay, well, this is how we're doing it. Doing it right now today.
So you just ripped off the Band-Aid.
Just jerked it off and threw me in there.
So your purpose was thrust upon you.
It was thrust. I mean, I had been studying and preparing for something. Just didn't think it was this. But here we are.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So there's another part of this, but you're leading into all the things. There's another part of that podcast that talks about, I'm trying to think what he says exactly, but it's the different jobs that you go through are connecting you to a certain point.
Yes.
So the things that you've done in life are not meaningless. Like I did doing retail for so many years. Like I learned so much and I met so many people, and all those things are just making connections to lead you up to something else. So it's like, don't give up in the moment. Like don't be depressed. Just think of it as this has a purpose for a bigger goal in my life.
Like a building block.
Yes, exactly.
Like you've got, I have a 19-year-old daughter right now who has just finished cosmetology school, and she's like, I'm done. Like, I'm an adult. I have nothing else to look forward to. I'm like, girl, life is just beginning. This is your base. This is your foundation. Like the people that you meet now are going to carry you to the next people that you meet, to the next season of life, to the next this. And it's funny how that happens. Well, in the moment you think, oh, this is ridiculous. I had the worst job ever. It was a 3-month job on the Arsenal. I literally pushed a button all day long in a basement with a bunch of like Sheldon. What's that show? Yes.
The Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang. With all the Big Bangers and me. It was the worst possible job I could ever have.
Yeah.
And at the end of the 3 months, they're like, we'd like to renew your contract. And I was like, absolutely not. no way, Jose. But I met some people in that industry, and had I not done that, like I didn't know I didn't know I would hate that. I thought, oh my gosh, work on the arsenal. Yes, it paid great.
Yeah,
it was awful.
Well, that's like me in retail. Like I was always like, what's next? What's next? I want to climb the ladder, climb the ladder. And then I got to a store manager position in Nashville. Awful. I was like, I cannot do this. And especially once I got pregnant, I'm like, I will never be able to see my children.
Right.
Like they will be away from me all the time. I've got to do something else.
And that's retail's tough.
Yes. And now even more so. Like I got out right at the perfect time. Like I was with Belk, everything transitioned then. Like they had sold it out. It wasn't a family business anymore. Right. And from that, it just completely went downhill. Like the customer service is just completely gone.
Right.
And that's what retail is missing now. I feel like it's
customer
service.
Yes.
And that kind of folds into Merit House as well. I feel like that's a big part of real estate that is missing is the customer service and the kindness and just touching people, you know, and being a light for them.
Yes. It's not just facilitating a transaction. I mean, like, this is a major, monumental experience for most people. One of the biggest things in their entire life. And we're not just pushing paper back and forth for them.
Like, it's not just a paycheck for us.
Correct.
Like, our purpose is to be in people's lives, even create friendships. Sometimes, like, I have done transactions with people multiple times, different family members, and I see them now, and it just feels like family every time I see them.
Listen, one of my most memorable clients ever, she has since moved away from the area. We still stay in contact. I think about her so often, and it's these little friendships that not little, but these friendships that you made that you never thought you would make that have changed the way you see things.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Well, and I look back on the past 8 years in real estate, and a huge part of my life has been connections. And now that I've started doing this podcast, I've seen how this is going to be a big part of my life, is just connecting all of the different people, because you know, like we have John Bentley coming on an episode, like we have people from my church. I just have so many people in my life who can make a big impact on other people.
Right.
And I feel like with this, I can give them a platform to share that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's crazy to look back and see that.
Yeah.
Another part of this that really stuck out to me is in finding your purpose. They said, look back at the people that you're jealous of and let them be the influence on your life.
Yes.
And I thought that was very interesting. So I've been thinking a lot about that lately. Is there anybody that you really pay attention to these days and you're just like, I kind of want to mimic what they're doing?
I don't know about necessarily mimicking what they're doing, but I do. There are people that do things really, really well that I want to emulate.
Yeah. Not
Not necessarily imitate, but like come up with my own way of doing things. In the past, you know, Patty Lambert was a huge inspiration for me starting out. She was a dear friend and mentor, and just seeing how much work she put in to be as successful as she was, but also how she treated her clients and how she treated other people and her kindness. That was one of the things that I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this in that way. But now I do see people, you know, in leadership roles and things like that I think they make wise choices and they do things that I want to be able to do. But I read a book a long time ago by Brant. Oh, what is his last name? It is Unoffendable.
Oh,
and
a good one.
It's a really good book. And so I worked really hard for a few years on becoming unoffendable and to just not let what other people do bother me or offend me. And like, if you do something and do it well, I'm proud. Like, I'm happy for you. I genuinely want to see everybody succeed. Of course, there are things where people come at you, and as a business owner, they attack you. We were just attacked yesterday on social media, and so it's constantly something, but I'm not offended by it. And so seeing other people do well, I'm just glad.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you? Is there somebody that you see that you're like?
No, well, that's just the thing lately in doing this podcast. Like, I see all of these strong women doing podcasts, standing up and preaching in their churches, doing women's conferences, things like that, which I never thought is something I would be interested in. But now I see them and I'm like, man, I want to be able to do that. I never thought I would be there.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying. But I feel like it's something God is really pushing in me. But I just think it's so important to look at people and think, what can I learn from that?
Yes.
Instead of thinking, oh gosh, look at them. Like, who do they think they are?
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like that podcast. That's a fear, is like people saying, like, who? I mean, why are they talking? Like, who do they think they are? Yes. But it's not about that. Like, this wasn't me saying this is something I want to do. This is God saying, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is important.
Yes.
And I would not have done it.
Right. You know what? After you said that, it made me, like, wheels start turning and brain starts clicking. Lee Marshall.
Yeah.
She, I very much look up to her. I really love that she has a voice for kids that are in foster care, kids needing to be adopted, adopted families. And I would love to step into something like that. And I don't know how that looks. But she's done it very well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think just strong women in general these days are a huge influence.
Yeah.
Even women running for office. Like, I look at that a lot now, and I'm just like, yeah.
I know. You go, I don't want to do that, but
yeah, it's great. Let's talk a little bit about passion versus purpose. What is something you are very passionate about?
Child advocacy, 100%. Very passionate about those kids that don't have someone in their corner. Making sure that their voices are heard and that they're being taken care of.
Yeah.
That's always been huge, especially after living through foster care and living through an adoption and walking through all that. Things don't always go the way they should for a lot of kids, and it's really unfortunate. Unfortunately, the people that are supposed to take care of them don't always have the kids' best interest at heart. And so I have tried to be a voice in that realm, but it's a difficult one. It's really difficult. It's really hard.
Well, so passion is defined as what brings you life, and purpose is using that passion to serve others. So I feel like that really connects with that.
Right.
I am still trying to figure out what I am most passionate about. Like I said, I feel like I'm really experiencing a big shift in my life where I'm trying to figure things out. And I think I'm just at a point where I'm just kind of letting God lead that.
And I feel like you're stepping into it.
Yeah. Which is scary.
Isn't it?
It's kind of like you didn't envision any of this. And it's just like God was just like, bam. So I feel like it all hits kind of when you least expect it.
It does.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have enough experience. I didn't have enough this. So I dove in head first with, first of all, leadership, like learning about how to lead people and how to lead people well and how to be a good role model and a good example. Because, I mean, I'll just tell you, I actually do have the t-shirt that says half hood, half holy. Pray with me, but don't play with me. And that's it. Like you're
going to have to wear that one day.
In my flesh, I'm like, I know you did not. But as a leader, you've got to rethink things. And so I had to step into all that because I was like, I'm not ready. And he said, you're ready.
Well, that was a part of that purpose podcast too, is people saying like, I don't have this and I don't have that and I'm not there. Mm-hmm. And that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is just doing it.
Yeah.
Like, we might not be the highlight reel, but that's what we want. We want people to see the real stuff, real people just talking and hashing it out.
You know, people always say, we're not ready for kids. Mm. You're never ready.
No, you're not.
You're never ready for it. Every day something happens and I'm like, I never saw this coming. I found, okay, this is burnt toast. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I opened up the TV cabinet. You know, we had everybody from the office at our house Friday night. Okay, I opened up our TV cabinet. Thank God nobody else did. There's an entire plate in there of food. I don't know how long it is almost mummified. Like, we haven't even been in our house a month and a half. It was like hard bread, mashed potatoes that should have had something growing on them. Like, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, how did this get here? Like, why is it behind closed doors? Who put it there? How has my life become this? And it's every day something like that. I mean, I just took it out, and then I was thinking, gosh, our food really is processed, because it looked like you could take a picture of it.
Oh my gosh. That's scary.
I know.
Well, anyway, we're going to go into burnt toast moments. I will tell mine. I don't think I told this before. Did I tell the banana pudding one on one of the previous podcasts?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Okay. We talked about this, but I don't know if it was like in real life or on this.
So a couple weeks ago, I was making banana pudding. My husband got out a bowl and he was going to make some hamburgers for lunch, one of my vintage antique bowls. And he got it out and I was just standing there watching him, and he's like, what are you looking at me for? And I'm like, I'm not. He was like, you just sitting here thinking I'm going to break your bowl? And I'm like, no, I wasn't thinking that at all. And he's just like, oh, whatever. And so I have all my banana pudding ingredients out, the microwave's above it, and he goes to put the bowl in the microwave, and instead of putting it in, he hits the side, shatters the bowl, and the meat goes in my banana pudding. And I'm just like, seriously? Like, are you serious?
Like, it wasn't bad enough that the bowl broke, but now I've got
and
juicy meat banana.
He was like getting all the meat together, and he was still. I'm like, they could have glass in it. Like, you can't cook it now. Throw it away. And then I went to remake it, and I had to make my meringue 3 times.
No,
because I could not get it right.
It will not fluff sometimes. Like, why is that?
Give up. I'm like, I'm not giving up. I was like, I'm going to make this banana pudding.
Those are fighting words.
Yeah. It was. That was a major burnt toast moment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So did you have hamburgers and banana pudding, or
we
were you
did
just
not
like
have hamburgers? We made sandwiches, but I did finish the banana pudding because I had to make it for an event, and I'd already said I would, so I was not giving up.
Yeah, you're like, by gosh, we're having it.
Yes, and I made my banana pudding from scratch, from an old Baptist cookbook.
Oh gosh,
I cannot do the fakey.
So this is no like Jell-O and
absolutely not. It is legit. So
that's one of those southern things. Right.
But in talking about food, that can lead us into and still talking about purpose. There was another podcast I was listening to with Blake Healy. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him, but you can check out his podcast or some of his sermons. But he talks about food and your purpose, and the drive of your purpose is hidden in your hunger. So like, what are you hungry for?
That's good.
And he relates it back to junk food. He's like, when I was in college, like, I used to eat all of these things and they tasted good, but they never fulfilled me.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that was like a huge like light bulb moment to think about, like, what are you hungry for? So just something for all of you to think about, like, what
actual food for thought.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what drives, like, that? I keep going back to this podcast, but like, the minute I thought about it, I'm like, let's go, like, let's do this. And my mind just started downloading all of these ideas, and I'm just like writing and typing all these things and making notes. And it has been so long since I have felt that way, because lately I've just been like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that, and I don't want to, but this was just like, yes, let's do this.
Let's go.
What in your life do you feel that way about?
What lights your fire?
Yes.
This has been just kind of an eye-opening podcast, just talking back and forth to you, because when I first started Merit House and the company and everything, it was exciting. It was scary, but it was exciting.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a lot of exciting. I mean, we built a house and we did things but purpose-driven passion is kind of what I get. Like what is missing right now? And I guess that's what you said. So, guys, like, what is missing? What's that passion that you have that you're missing out on? Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails. That's in Proverbs 19:21. And I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like, it makes, go look for, don't just wait for that fire to be lit. Go light that thing.
Yes. And ask the Lord. Like, I spend most of my time with him in the car.
Just talking.
What is happening? Like, I need this. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, show me, give me a word. Like, I want to hear your voice. And sometimes it comes in very unexpected ways.
Very. And here's the thing. Don't ask for it. Like, don't ask for it if you can't take it on, because it's coming. It might not come in the way that you expect it to come, but it will come, and you're going to be like, what? And I see this so many times. People are like, there are so many people that are praying for what you're living out right now. And I think back on all that I've prayed for over my life and how it's come to fruition. Like, don't pray for it. Don't ask for it if you're not ready, because it might not come how you expect it to come.
And it's probably not.
No.
Yeah.
But thanks so much for tuning in today. We would love for you to share your burnt toast moments with us. You can comment below or send us a little DM on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. But please join us for the next episode. What are we going to talk about?
Let Them theory.
Oh, more Mel Robbins.
Yes. So if you have not read the book Let Them by Mel Robbins, get on Audible and check it out, because we will talk about that next time.
Awesome.
Bye.